I'm currently collecting Lily of the Valley flowers. Lily of the Valley flower is a nickname for a flower called Convallaria mahalis. And two famous herbalists, doctors, real medical doctors, have written about this particular flower in their texts. Dr. Culpepper was a herbalist from the 1600s, and he wrote very candidly and freely about the power of herbs and how regular everyday uneducated people can use them to help ailments within their body for their neighbors and children. His main audience were village women from regular women from the village who worked on a farm, had children, took care of the elderly, regular women. He wasn't covetous about the knowledge of herbs at all. Another doctor wrote about Lily of the Valley. His name is Dr. Edward Shook, a real medical doctor, wrote in his book that is actually available for free download. The book is called Herbology for Home Study, Hour of the Time. If you Google those words and Dr. Edward Shook's name, you'll see the download available. It's a very scientific book. He breaks down the chemical components of several herbs that also Dr. Culpepper cites in his book. But the amazing thing about Dr. Edward Shook is that he breaks down the actual science behind these herbs and how they help the body. The main gist of his book is that modern medical science uses inorganic material in the form of synthetic, concoctions or pills, mass produced, and they actually hurt the body. The main medical industry uses heavy metals and synthetic drugs to treat ailments, but he cites that, or it is plant material only that is most effective in healing the body. That is not a popular message that is out there, but it is out there. The amazing thing about Dr. Edward Shook is that he is the so-called Dr. Sebi read his book and learned all about the science behind herbs like Lily of the Valley. It's very popular, and according to legend, and it's a popular part of his story, Dr. Sebi, he's not a medical doctor. He's just a man, a well-traveled man from Ecuador, but he did not go to medical school, and he didn't publish any scientific books about herbs like Dr. Edward Shook or Dr. Culpepper. This is just facts. Dr. Sebi states that he doesn't read books to learn about herbs. He just, I don't know, it's like it is as if he's trying to portray that he got the knowledge of the herbs from God, which the ancient people from a long time ago received the knowledge from the spirits. We don't know how they received the knowledge at all, but he got all of his knowledge about the herbs from Dr. Edward Shook. I believe it's his firstborn son, or a son who's like in his 40s or 50s now, was on the Breakfast Club and told everybody the book they read to learn about the herbs was Hour of the Time, Herbology for Home Study by Dr. Edward Shook, who is a medical doctor. He practiced in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, around that time. And he wrote similarly in a style to Culpepper, in that he very much insulted the main medical industry and how they use inorganic material to give to people, and it actually causes more harm. So healing disease and preventing disease is best, and it's superior to do it with organic material from the earth, not non-living material like rocks and heavy metals formulated by different chemical reactions on those rocks, heavy metals, or synthetic material. Dr. Edward Shook wrote about Lily of the Valley, and he stated it is one of the many herbs that clears the body. Um, I'll turn around the camera so you can see the herb I'm speaking of while I speak about it. Can I do that? Anyway, tell you about Lily of the Valley and what Dr. Edward Shook wrote about it. He states that Lily of the Valley leaves and roots clear the bloodstream and the muscle tissue of something called fibrin. Fibrin is something that formulates in the tissues, causing mucus and tumors, clogging up the body because the body is lacking in a nutrient called potassium chloride. Potassium chloride is an organic salt that is very present in this particular herb as well as some others he writes about. Potassium chloride is needed for the body to clear out mucus and fibrous tissue. Fibrin is the name of the material that formulates in excess when there's not enough of a nutrient called potassium chloride. Fibrin also causes something called fibrous tumors in the body in excess. So it's like hardened mucus, basically. It's mucus that may have started out as a liquid, but ended up hardening in the body because there's just a lack of this material called potassium chloride. Most fruits and vegetables have potassium chloride, but we don't eat it enough, or the fruits and vegetables don't have it in a percentage as abundant as these herbs. This herb is controversial. It's listed as a poison, but 2 medical doctors actually describe it as and describe the amount that one should use in treating themselves in abundance. So there isn't a reason why the medical industry would like to tout it as a poison, because I guess they just don't want people curing themselves of disease.